Seanizzle, watch it.
Greetings and welcome to Jesse I Interviews. I'm Jesse I, and once again I'm recording this in Melbourne, Australia, on the lands of the Wurundjeri and Boon Wurrung people of the Kulin Nation. Respect to them and all First Nations peoples. This episode features an interview with dancehall producer Seanizzle, recorded at his home studio in Kingston in July 2018. This one is obviously pretty different from the last few episodes, not only because it's more recent, but also because we're talking about contemporary dancehall music here, as opposed to reggae. And this is coming from the perspective of producer rather than artist. I really hope all the Roots fans give this one a chance though, as I really enjoyed this interview. For me, this was totally worth it just to hear the story behind the huge hits on the One Day Rhythm from 2010. So let's do it. Jesse I interviews Seanizzle, Kingston, Jamaica, 2018. Alright, so right now I'm in Three Oaks Garden, just off Malloynes Road in Kingston, Jamaica, with Reid, aka Seanizzle. Thank you for joining us here on PBS.
And it's a pleasure having me.
So I always like to start my interviews with the very fundamentals. I'd like to know where you were born and what life was like for you growing up.
I was born in Kingston, within this vicinity, close by. Life was very normal for me. It wasn't that rough and it wasn't easy at the same time, you know. It was just enough to make me who I am today in terms of appreciating everything, life and its soul. You know what I mean? It teach me to go out there, to work hard for what I want, you know what I mean? Not to just sit and just say, all right, I hope things would just fall in place, because I've seen my mom and my dad working extremely hard, you know what I mean, to provide for the family. So I took on that onto myself and said, well, I would have to do just the same and more so I can provide for my family and also change certain lifestyle for my family, you know.
So what about the early days in the music business? So when did you first think, all right, I'm going to be a producer?
It's 2000, I think it's my last year of high school. You know, before thinking of being a music producer, I had a sound system called Murder Mafia. Me and a few classmates, we shared a similar interests. You know, we formed the sound system where we did mix CDs. You know, it wasn't a sound that physically go out there, and we just do mix CDs and spread them through, you know, those guys in the streets. You know, so it's one day doing a mix CDs, the sounds came alive in my ear. You know, and I got curious, like, how do you make a rhythm? You know, I started to do some research and, you know, I made some links here and there, you know, and then I met some of the more analog persons first, you know what I mean? My neighbor close by is Bobby Digital. You know, so the first person came to mind was to go and visit Bobby Digital. So I was friend with his son, Calibod. So he introduced me in the studio, you know, give me the chance to see what it was like. Then I get stressed out. Because I realized all of them equipment here cost money. You know what I mean? I was still going to high school, and, you know, so that did kind of drift my mind a little bit, because I'm like, there's no way for a youth like me to get a start. And then, you know, going out there with this in my mind, you know, I start to meet different people. And I met up on a producer. He was a beat maker at the time, just making beats and trying to get them heard, by the name of Black Sheep now, but at the time his name was Mafia. So I met him in the streets while trying to seek information, and he introduced me to a program called Fruity Loops. And I have a bigger Fruity Loops can change my life, you know what I mean? And that's where I got started, you know, and I'm making beats amongst my peers for about 2 years, and then leave school now and go into this private class, and then everybody there was like, yo, you need to start make some professional producers hear these beats, because them sound really good, you know. And that's when I started take on the road now, meeting some of the prominent producers for them to hear my beat. So in 2003 is when I went to Mr. G's studio, which is Young Blood Records, And he was the first producer to accept one of my beat and produce it. And from there, the rest is history.
What rhythm was that?
It was called a Stepfather Rhythm. And, featuring Vibes Cartel, Beanie Man, Wayne Marshall, Sasha. The list went on and on, because each time the songs keep going out. We didn't release all the songs all at once. So it's each time more artists voice on it, then more artists would come, and then the credibility started to create. And then the second follow-up after that was a song called Fast Lane by Buju Banton. That was a beat that got a lot of people to zone into what I was doing. And then the credibility started to develop, where my name started to circulate within the music industry, Then,
how did it feel as a young youth, just finished high school and hearing your rhythm with these big artists singing on it?
It was a big deal, It was a very big deal, because when I did it, I still wasn't sure what I'm gonna do, if this is gonna really be my profession. Because, as I said, where I grew up, I see my mom working hard and them believe in education and going back to school. And so while doing the music, I wasn't 100% comfortable doing it, because they were giving me a fight, to be honest. Cause they were like, are you what? Lisa, you go to school to do all of this, and you sit down in the house now making one bag of noise. And cause they weren't seeing the vision as yet. So it wasn't that easy for me. So to hear the stuff them now playing on the radio, this is what really gave me the motivation to continue, and also open their eyes to an extent. So the pressure it never stopped, but it lessened a little bit. And working with Buju Banton at a tender age, as I said, just leaving high school, and to get a connection like that, it was a big deal, not just to me alone, but to everybody in my surrounding. And as I said, each step, the credibility got better and better, So in 2005, that's when I formed Seanizzle Records. And the rest was just history from there,
I'm trying to think of the first time I remember hearing about Seanizzle, and I'm not sure if I can remember anything far back as 2005, but I definitely remember Gully Creeper.
Yeah.
I remember Sean, and on back.
2008.
Yeah, so what were the releases in between then, the early releases on Seanizzle?
The first official release was the Reverse Rhythm, with Beanie Man had a song on it called Reverse the Thing. And Tony Mataran song up to this day that never stopped playing the dancehall, called Sit Down On It. So those songs got the label now credibility within the industry. The name haven't been a household name as yet, or in the streets, just within the music industry. A few people now say, yo, him do this. So it started to, when I approach certain recording artists, it started to get easier now, because I have something to refer to. So that's where the production started to grow.
Of course, you've had one of the biggest hits in dancehall for the last 20 years with Rum and Red Bull, and that whole rhythm was huge. So tell us about that time there.
Yeah, man, that morning, that day was just a magical day. Everything just happened naturally. It's just crazy. Like, I remember it was a Sunday morning. I woke up and about 6 a.m. and I just went right in the studio. Didn't brush my teeth, no wash my face, nothing. Just an urge came upon me to just go in the studio, and I went, and instantly I started to make the beat. And then while making the beats, some melodies and ideas started to come. And I demo it, not having no idea that I would be the one recording the song. So I demoed the verses, and I left it until a Tuesday. Mr. G came by the studio, and I'm like, hey, someone make the rhythm here and have a little idea on it. When you hear it, I don't know, maybe you can tell me which artist I could approach with it. So I played for him now. I'm saying, no, man, are you for sing this? Are you for do this? And, same time we start vibe the chorus. And then we came up with the song. One day, me know me have to get my pay for the youths. Even though things well ration, still by lucky 5 big tree and Japan. me shop for my fashion. Want a clocks and me shot for the cash on. Even though man I hustle every day, when Friday come man can't see them away. No boy that got light and shine for me, so me nah go stray for nobody. One day, So while working on the song, hear someone knock on the door. Pull the door, it was Future Fambo telling me that, bro, me just come for tell you later, and you know, me keep the link with you, I go America, I'm done with music. And I'm like, what? You mad? So all of these time and effort when me put in working with you, I just go down the drain. And I'm like, yeah, but it now work, you know what I mean? And sometimes I have to know when to give up because I get my fair share already. So your fair share, you not tour the world on your behalf yet, so you get your fair share, you're going on people's behalf. And I must say, yeah, but you know, I have to give thanks and whatever. So I know he was going through a stressful time in his life, you know. He was at a down point and him said, this is it. So we're all there talking, and while I'm excited over my song, he went in the voice room and fell asleep. Just lay down in there and fell asleep. So still working on the song, Mr. G ended up recording his song Swaggerific on the rhythm the same morning. I am. Swaggerific, I'm so swaggerific. Swaggerific, I'm so swaggerific. Bang book a giant, you're one a midget. Looking at me account a pure 8-digit. Swaggerific, I'm so swaggerific. Swaggerific, we so. And while we finish his song now, we just a laugh now and feel excited. So him playing his song, we play my song back to back. Then we hear somebody knock on the door again. So we're like, who that? Man say me. Man say me. Me inside, you know, so who is that outside? And the person decides to them not call them name. So at that time, we don't have no camera, we can't see nothing. Just have a guess. Mm-hmm. So the person out there for like 5 minutes. I'm like, who this man? So I start to get very serious now, wondering who just pull up at my house. I'm asking, who is this? Anyway, we're not saying anything to the person out there. Then the person just say, yo, the son out in a Beanie Man. Let me know. And I said, Beanie Man? A Beanie Man has never come to my studio before.
That was the first time.
And he have not like even call or say, well, where's your studio? Him just pop up. So I was like, Beanie Man, pull the door. I'm saying, sorry about that, sir. You know? And he came in and, you know, so he was like, you know, say, I'm in my bed and God just say, find Seanizzle. I'm like, just so? And he must say, yeah. I'm going to ask about 10 person over find a studio. So I'm saying, this, in my mind, I'm saying, this weird. What, me? Why me? Just pull up and him walk in and see him time I play the rhythm for him. And the man say, yo, your life changed, right? You say, you know, that rhythm I go run the whole world. And so said, so done.
I'm drinking, I'm drinking, I'm drinking, I'm drinking. Alright. Oh, Lord, 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 Lord. I'm drinking rum and Red Bull. And you see, let me heart full. Them want me get awful like them on the dance, I'll get grappled.
As Beanie Man record him song, here comes Cargo. I've never seen Cargo in my life before. Him just randomly pop up at the studio, same ear say. I think he heard that Beanie Man was here. And him come from country and him say him always want to see Beanie. Him connect with Beanie Man like I'm have a one person apart Beanie Man. So anywhere Beanie Man is, him would have find out and meet up. Saw him there working and I see this Rasta man in the corner of the studio. And I said, who is this man? Him come in, not even say good afternoon, good evening. So I kind of watch him a little bit. I said, who the man here? Then all of a sudden him pull up to me and say, yo, I really made the baddest rhythm. You can't voice him up on it. But at the time now, some people are whisper to me and say, a Cargo man, him did do a song named Can't Cool, Can't Quench. He's a Rasta singer. A reggae singer, I should say. And I'm like, oh, I know the song them one. Them can give him a reggae rhythm before him leave. So when him approach me now, I say, you know, I never really planned for this rhythm to turn out this way. But I like how it go, so I don't really think I'm going to put no more artists on it. But I have a reggae rhythm for you. And I must say, honestly, I don't want no reggae rhythm. This me want, you know. And I say, you know, I never planned for it. You know, I don't really know of him before. So, I kind of in a little bit of doubt. So, as the day progress, every time I look left, right at him, I see So that my conscience, you know what I'm saying, let me give him a try. So I call him back and say, bro, I'm going to burn the rhythm for you. When I tell him that, him say him don't want the rhythm, him good, him not have voice. So him turn it back on me, you know. Mm-hmm. So outside, and I know him whisper to somebody and say, you know, long me in the studio, and I ask him for voice, me, and him say, no voice, me, and no, all of a sudden him want voice. Me, now go up on the rhythm. Someone say, I hear that. That rhythm, we're going to change everybody's life. You don't want to be a part of this magic. So him come back in and say, brother, you know, I change my mind. I give him the rhythm. As him give him the rhythm, him go outside and go into the car. Him just find him song.
Seanizzle, yeah, Mr. Lion, Damien. Me nah sell out my friend, nah but this my friend. Be a blessing, me son. Please your guide and protect them. Nah sell out my friend, nah but this my friend. Be a blessing, me son. Please your guide and protect them.
Everything just flow that day. Natural. Nothing planned. Everything happened one day. So it so happened that my song is titled One Day, and all the song was recorded in one day. And the rest is just history.
That's amazing. That's actually one of my... I've heard a lot of stories in reggae and dancehall history, and that's one of my favorite stories. I love that story there.
Yeah, definitely, man. Definitely, you know.
One thing it makes me think of is artists pressuring producers to voice on rhythms. This is one thing I've always thought about in Jamaica. I mean, there's Jamaicans, every artist wants to get their foot in the door, and they got to get on a rhythm. And I can just imagine there must be a lot of pressure on successful producers here to voice upcoming artists. How do you balance all of the effort and work it takes to record an artist and that pressure from all comers?
I mean, I work with the vibe of music, you know, so I don't make pressure get to me because it's part of the game. I have to feel the vibe of the music, you know what I mean? Because you're doing good, you're going to find a lot of people going to approach you. But at the end of the day, I make the music speak for itself, you know what I mean? So if you approach me and sing a song to me, or you leave a demo and that song connect within my heart, the rest is history right there. You know what I mean? So I'm going to reach out to the artist, or if on spot, I'm like the vibe record same time. You know what I mean? So it's not a matter of you come with such man or through your name a link with such man. From the music is good, it doesn't matter who it is, and I connect with it, I'm ready for work. Yeah.
Well, another thing, looking at the business side of things, I'm curious how things work with artists and payment, because when I've seen firsthand when producers from Australia come to Jamaica and they want to voice a certain artist, and through their name isn't well known, the artist wants X amount of money to voice upon their rhythm. But an established successful producer like yourself in Jamaica, it surely must be different. You know, how what's the arrangement with most artists when it comes to voicing?
Well, as you said, you know, when you're credible in the business where people know of you, you know what I mean, we don't really go about it that way, you know what I mean. But you have some artists still, like, them feel like they don't need no producer. They can work with even a rat and become successful. So you have some of them will still stick out, you know what I mean. But if it's just a vibe where you want to work with me, want to work with you, you know my power and I know your power, so it value more than paying for the beat, because maybe what I can do, you know what I mean, it's priceless. You know what I mean, even my promotion strategy, all of these things you have to consider, you know. So what we do, we just split everything down the line, you know what I mean. If you're the writer, you get all of those stuff, and what, you know what I mean, all of those things, just all boil down to the paperwork at the end, you know.
I am curious about that too, because you've been in the business long enough to see the business change from the early, when you first started putting out music, you would have been pressing vinyl the same as all the other producers. I got Seanizzle 45s at my house, so I know. But these days, you know, vinyl not pressed no more, and people don't even necessarily buy music. You know, some people buy music, but most of the new rhythms come out. They're on all the message boards. They're on the email blast. Everybody's downloading for free. How does a producer in reggae dancehall music make money these days?
Well, in 2018, it's all about streaming. You know what I mean? Spotify, YouTube, Apple Music. You know what I mean? Like about, say, 2010. At that time was the last I pressed a record. You know what I mean? I released One Day Rhythm on vinyl because I was still in that culture, but it never necessary at the time because that's when I was transitioning now into digital distributing. You know what I mean? So I used to sell my music online, and it was the big deal at that time. That was the new wave for us in dancehall music, and as time changed over about the last 6 years, you find that Spotify become the center of the income now, you know what I mean? Apple Music instead of someone going and purchasing the music, you know what I mean? So I've seen it change over the years, but definitely streaming is really what is the big deal right now, you know what I mean? Like, to be honest, I don't think this generation is really selling units like that before. But the streaming, because everything now is digital. These kids nowadays, them live on the internet. So that is what really making the impact in our lives now, you know, to maintain.
Now, I've noticed there's certain artists that are on most of your rhythms, artists like Octane, Chris Martin, Busy Signal, Beanie Man, Bugle. Certain artists that you like to voice a lot? Are there any artists in particular that you particularly get a joy from working with?
Yeah, man. Beanie Man, you know what I mean? I always learn something working with Beanie Man. Bounty Killer. I learn a lot. Busy Signal. Like, recording Busy Signal is an experience each time. That man is not a normal individual. You know what I mean? Every time working with Busy Signal, it's an experience. You know what I mean? Christopher Martin. I enjoy working with all of them. You know, Dexter Daps too you know, it's so much fun working with that artist as well. You know what I mean? I enjoy working with artists where they challenge me and I challenge them. You know what I mean? I can come with a weird rhythm where them never heard anything like that before, and them like, come mash up that rhythm there. You know what I mean? Make a whole vibe on that. All right. Tomorrow when nobody know the studio, so the whole night I eat work. You know what I mean? Them things, they bring a different kind of energy. So artists like that don't fear challenge. I like working with those kind of people.
One rhythm I wanted to ask you about is 47th Floor. It's a rhythm that we played enough. Every dance for months and months and months we played that rhythm. How did that rhythm come about?
All right, I'm always trying to sound different, you know what I mean? That is one of my key thing in the whole industry. I always try to bring something to the table, you know, and in that year, 2016, I was traveling a lot. So everywhere I go, I realize Hans is what I've been hearing a lot in all the genres, you know what I mean? In the pop music, you know what I mean? All EDM. And I'm like, what about incorporating this in a dancehall rhythm, you know? And one night, a whole vibe, me and my virgin Stephen Maxwell, he's the one who played the hands in 47th Floor, and that was the rhythm that came out, you know. So I'm like, so when I told him, so why you play it like this? I'm like, what you think about? You know, like, bro, I hear it every morning. I wake up, this is the vibe I'm get. This is how I hear. This, you know, hear it I go on, and I'm like, I don't know what you talk. So I could try it. You know what I mean? And it just flow, one go. You know what I mean? It just flow. Him just play that and everything else. I start find other melodies and it just happen.
Some tell me the dance I go shot. Some tell me the party I go black. Some tell me, say me I go make piece of food in the day and my pocket I go fat.
Every artist I played it for was like, yo, I'm ready right now. I never had no challenge with any artist to record on that rhythm. Everybody wanted it.
So even Christopher Martin had 2 tunes even, so it must have been full of lyrics.
Yeah, man. A lot of artists had 2 songs, you know. You know what I mean? Busy Signal had 2 songs. You know what I mean? Massacre did 2 songs. DeMarco did 2 songs. You know what I mean? Ding Dong did too. Because like the rhythm bad, they was say, if that one don't work, this one must work. That's all the rhythm had the artist. It was crazy fun working on that rhythm, you know.
Now, as somebody that's been making rhythms for so long in dancehall, you've been part of a lot of changes. Dancehall music, the sounds change regularly. Do you pay much attention to what other people are doing, or you just do your own thing and just make the kind of music you want to make?
I definitely pay attention to everything that's going on, you know what I mean? Both from the young, the old, you know what I mean? And then I soak up all of that energy and turn it into my sound, you know what I mean? And then I just flow. I listen to everything, you know what I mean? I've been inspired by everything that surrounds me, you know what I mean? So I'm very aware of my surroundings. And I soak up all of that energy and create my music.
All right. Seanizzle, thank you very much for taking the time to talk to us here on PBS. Is there any last message you'd like to pass on to the people back in Australia?
Yeah, man, definitely, man. Everybody out there, aspiring musicians, producers, you know what I mean, engineer, whatever your dream is, you know what I mean, just put your heart and soul in it, you know what I mean. Don't give up. Don't watch other people, you know what I mean. Some people might come in after you and become successful, and that might kind of get you down away and make you wonder if this make for you. But I mean, Rome wasn't built in a day, you know what I mean? And you have to know that greatness don't come overnight, as Chronics would say, you know? So just steadfast, put Father God first in all that you do, you know what I mean? Stay focused, tunnel vision, every day, and just try to be different, because that's what's going to make you stand out amongst the millions out there doing the same thing.
I respect Seanizzle. Give thanks.
Yeah, man, it's a pleasure, man. Much respect. PBS. Seanizzle Records.
Sean Reid, aka Seanizzle, speaking to me from his home studio in Kingston in July 2018. As usual, that was the whole recording, unedited and uncut. I have to say though, I really wished I hadn't been so quick to turn off my recorder with this one. After the interview we kept talking and somehow Alkaline's name came up. Sean told me a great story about how he'd heard an early Alkaline demo. He was given a demo by a girl that went to church with Alkaline at the time. He told me how he tried to reach out to him to do something together, but a series of bad luck and bad mind interference kept it from happening. Of course, Alkaline went on to blow up and become one of the biggest names in dancehall, and what could have been an amazing link never happened. That's it for this episode. Please join me again next time as I get even more up to the time. A fresh interview with Protégé. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, Rastafari party.
Seanizzle Records.
Me there I go and build, I go and chill, and I sip some roots of Bubble Hill. Cause Rasta no consume season poison. Yeah, in other Rasta party, yeah. Everything done upload. Every Rasta we see me make them proud. Fresh like water on the grass with no green. Let a prince and princess, kings and queens. Yeah, everything done upload. Every bubble we see me make them proud. Fresh like water on the grass with no green. Let a prince and princess, kings and queens.